Canada is embarking on a bold and historic transformation of its military, one that marks a turning point in the nation's approach to defense and security. For decades, Canada has been recognized for its peacekeeping missions and its commitment to international stability. But now, faced with a rapidly changing world, the country is taking unprecedented steps to strengthen its own defenses at home. Central to this transformation is the creation of a massive reserve force, 300,000 citizen soldiers drawn from all walks of life. These reservists will be ordinary Canadians trained and ready to serve when their country needs them most, blending civilian skills with military discipline. This move represents a significant departure from Canada's traditional focus on peacekeeping abroad. Instead, the government is reimagining national defense, preparing for a world where threats can emerge suddenly and unpredictably, both at home and overseas. The new reserve force will be tasked with a wide range of homeland defense responsibilities. From responding to natural disasters like wildfires and floods, to protecting critical infrastructure such as power plants and communication networks, these citizen soldiers will be on the front lines of Canada's safety. This strategic pivot is a direct response to the increasingly uncertain and dangerous global security environment. With rising tensions and new threats emerging around the world, Canada is determined to ensure it can defend its interests independently, without relying solely on allies. To make this vision a reality, Prime Minister Mark Carney's government has committed $2 billion to increase military pay and benefits, making service more attractive and accessible to Canadians from every region and background. The plan is about more than just numbers. It's about building a culture of resilience and shared responsibility. By involving more Canadians in national defense, the government hopes to foster a sense of unity and preparedness that will help the country withstand any crisis, whether natural or man-made. As this ambitious mobilization unfolds, it sends a clear message: Canada is ready to take charge of its own security, adapting to a new era where vigilance and readiness are more important than ever before. Canada's recent military buildup is not just a matter of national defense, it's a direct response to a profound shift in its relationship with the United States, its closest neighbor and historically its most important ally. For decades, the two countries have enjoyed a partnership built on mutual trust, shared values, and deep economic ties. However, recent developments have introduced a new level of uncertainty and tension into this long-standing alliance. The once seamless border now feels more like a line of division, as diplomatic gestures are increasingly overshadowed by policy disagreements and shifting priorities on both sides. The latest U.S. national security strategy has reignited debate by reasserting the Monroe Doctrine, a policy that historically positioned the U.S. as the dominant power in the Western Hemisphere. This move is seen by many in Canada as a direct challenge to its sovereignty and autonomy, raising concerns about the future of bilateral cooperation. As a result, Canadian officials are reassessing their defense strategies, recognizing that the country is increasingly viewed as a subordinate state rather than an equal partner. This realization has sparked a national conversation about the need for greater self-reliance and a more assertive foreign policy. The expansion of the citizen army is more than a military maneuver. It is a powerful message to Washington and the world that Canada is prepared to defend its independence and chart its own course, even in the face of external pressure. Meanwhile, economic relations have deteriorated. Trade negotiations that once promised prosperity have ended abruptly, leaving businesses and workers on both sides of the border in a state of uncertainty. The closure of key border checkpoints and the suspension of major trade agreements have only deepened the sense of unease. At the recent G7 summit, these tensions were on full display. Canada found itself caught between its traditional American ally and its European partners, forced to navigate a complex web of alliances and competing interests. The summit highlighted just how much the geopolitical landscape has changed. In response, Canadian defense planners are preparing for a future where the country may need to stand alone, ready to face challenges without guaranteed support from its southern neighbor. This new reality is shaping every aspect of Canada's military and diplomatic strategy. Ultimately, these actions represent a strategic hedge, a deliberate effort to safeguard Canadian interests in an unpredictable world, and to ensure that no matter what course the United States chooses, Canada will be ready to protect its sovereignty and its future. Canada is pivoting away from reliance on American military equipment. This dependency is now seen as a strategic vulnerability. Canada is exploring new partnerships, considering the Swedish Gripen fighter jet over the American F-35. This shift prioritizes dependable alliances over technological integration with a volatile neighbor. Canada is strengthening defense ties with European nations to build a resilient supply chain. This move bolsters Canada's domestic defense industry, fostering innovation and job creation. Shifting away from American equipment is complex and expensive, requiring significant investment. An independent procurement policy is essential for a truly independent defense policy. Canada is partnering with Ukraine to modernize its defense capabilities, focusing on drone technology. Ukraine's expertise in drones is invaluable for Canada's homeland defense. The partnership involves technology transfer, helping Canada build a sovereign drone industry. Citizen soldiers will be trained to use drones as part of a network defense system. This alliance provides Canada with a technological edge and supports Ukraine's sovereignty. By investing in Ukraine's innovations, Canada strengthens its national security. This relationship is based on shared values and mutual benefit against common threats. Canada's military expansion is not happening in isolation. It's part of a sweeping global trend of rearmament that is reshaping the international landscape. As tensions rise and old alliances are tested, countries around the world are reassessing their defense priorities and investing heavily in their armed forces. Nations are not only increasing defense spending, but also forging new alliances and strengthening existing partnerships in response to rapid geopolitical shifts. The world is witnessing a renewed focus on collective security, as governments seek to deter potential threats and ensure their own stability. In Europe, Germany and Denmark are leading examples of this transformation. Both countries are significantly boosting their military capabilities, modernizing equipment, and expanding their armed forces to meet new security challenges. This marks a dramatic shift from previous decades of relative military restraint. In Asia, Japan is taking historic steps by revising its pacifist constitution, a move that will allow for a more robust defense posture. This change reflects growing concerns over regional security and the need for Japan to play a larger role in its own defense and in supporting allies. These developments are not limited to major powers. Middle powers like Canada, Australia, and South Korea are also responding to shared anxieties about an unpredictable world. Their leaders are increasingly vocal about the need to invest in defense and to work together to address emerging threats. For Canada, the current military buildup is a defensive measure, a way to adapt to an increasingly dangerous and uncertain global environment. By strengthening its armed forces, Canada aims to protect its citizens, support its allies, and contribute to international peace and security. The global rearmament trend is, in many ways, a direct response to the erosion of the post-Cold War order. As old certainties fade and new rivalries emerge, countries are preparing for a future where security can no longer be taken for granted. In this new era, countries like Canada are taking greater responsibility for their own defense, determined to preserve their sovereignty and ensure their place in a rapidly changing world. Building a 300,000-strong citizen army presents significant challenges. Recruitment, training, and equipment logistics are monumental tasks. The Canadian defense industry must expand to meet equipment demands. Defining the role and legal framework for the reserve is crucial. Integrating part-time volunteers into the professional military requires careful planning. Maintaining public support and political will is essential for long-term success. The government must communicate the necessity of this force to Canadians. This investment is vital for national security and resilience. Mobilizing citizen soldiers redefines Canada's identity on the world stage. It shifts Canada from a reactive to a proactive defense posture. This new reality asks Canadians for greater involvement in national security. The citizen army fosters national unity, but raises questions about militarization. Canada is charting an independent course, strengthening ties with like-minded democracies. This military move secures Canada's future in an uncertain world. It requires sustained political will, financial investment, and public support. Canada is ready to shape its destiny in the 21st century,